Nobody, and I mean nobody, is recruiting harder than Indiana basketball right now. Let's get it.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen each and every day. We are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Nobody is recruiting harder than Indiana basketball is right now. With the fall recruiting window, the period is open, right? And the coaching staff is all over the place. They're traveling across the country, doing what they got to do to land the biggest recruits in 2025 and even making some ground in 2026. We'll have that for you today. Plus, it is game day for Indiana football. Remember, they're playing tonight on Friday, not tomorrow on Saturday. So a full preview for you in terms of what we could see from Indiana football this weekend, what we might see around the Big Ten this weekend, maybe some predictions as well as the Hoosiers take on Western Illinois and some big games around the Big Ten as well. All that coming up for you on Locked On Hoosiers. Well, it's no secret. If you keep up with what's happening and you know anything about recruiting right now in high school basketball, it's unbelievable. It is wide open, and the biggest programs in the country are going insane. But none bigger, none better, none stronger than Indiana basketball. Mike Woodson and his assistant coaches in the first couple of days, literally 2 days that it's been open, have gone full throttle with high school recruiting. And it really is nice to see. Refreshing is a word that I go back to. Encouraging is a word I think that you could throw in there as well, because they're doing it better than anybody else. And no, they're not the only ones out on the trail right now, but they are taking more people than anybody else is as well. We told you on yesterday's show here on Locked On Hoosiers, my everydayers, you know this, but if you missed yesterday's episode, go check that one out and then come back here. We told you about who they were already visiting on day one and going into day two. Well, guess what? They did it again. They doubled down, tripled down on day two of this fall recruiting window. Because just a few days ago on Wednesday, the first day, right, Indiana went to see Jalen Harrelson, who, by the way, was just here on campus this past weekend. And they also went to see Braylon Mullins, who is going to be here in just a couple of weeks on September 20th, along with Trent Sisley and Eric Reeby, right? We talked about those two guys a little bit yesterday as well. And so they went to see Harrelson, top 15 player in the country. Braylon Mullins, top 30 player in the country. Okay, not bad, right? Not bad at all for day one in terms of going around and seeing high school talent. Well, they did even better on day two. Yesterday on Thursday, listen to this list. Bryson Tiller, you remember that name, don't you? Yeah, they went to see him. Mikel Brown, top 10 player in the class. You may know the name. You may know that he's one of the best point guards in the country. They went to see him. And in case you forgot, Trent Sisley, they went to see him too. This staff hopped on a plane, hopped in the car, whatever they had to do, and they went and hit the trail hard. And nobody's doing it like we are right now. Sure, some of the big programs are out and about. UConn, Tennessee, Michigan State, Auburn sending some assistants here and there. Indiana said, nope, we're going full throttle. We're going all in right now. And I absolutely love it. I love what we're doing here because we've decided now's our time. Now is our chance to get in, make our splash, and hope that it sticks. And I think the reason we're doing it so hard so early is A, nobody else is doing it like this. And B, I think we have a feeling that a lot of these guys are going to commit kind of soon. And so the thing that I really kind of formulate here, in my opinion, is they understand this may be their best opportunity to get in front of these kids, whether it's at school or in home or whatever the case may be. The Hoosiers and Mike Woodson realize now's our chance. Now's our shot. Let's make a really good impression right now and let's go see them. And I continue to say that we're doing it better than anybody else because in terms of numbers, we are. We absolutely are. We're sending 4 people to every single recruit. Yes, head coach Mike Woodson, he's there. Assistants Kenya Hunter, there. Yasir Rosemond, there. Brian Walsh, there. All 4 coaches are there in person and having lunch, conversations, dinner, talking to the parent, whatever they got to do to make this thing happen. Nobody else is sending 4. Like I said, some are just sending an assistant here and there. Some are flying or driving and just 1 or 2 coaches. Yeah, there may be Rick Barnes with an assistant coach, or Dan Hurley may show up with one of his assistants. But I'm telling you, from all the insight that I can get, nobody is sending 4 recruiters to every single player on their list. And that is so unique. That's so special. And I've seen a lot of old school Indiana folk who know a lot more than I do and have been around it a lot longer than I have. They're telling me it's never been done like this. They've never seen commitment like this before. And that should be inspiring to you. That should give you some confidence, at least some hope that we're doing what we're supposed to do, because I believe that we are. But as I told you yesterday on the show, and this will continue to be true until the end of time, you can put in all the work you want to, but you still have to be results driven. You still are judged off of your results. And in this scenario, in this case, you're judged based off of how many commits you get, how many kids end up playing for your program. If it's 0, you're in trouble. Even if it's just 1 or 2, that's not good enough. I told you that yesterday. You cannot rely on the transfer portal to build your team every year. And I don't think this team wants to do that. I really, really don't. I think they want to land big in the high school rankings this year. And the Indiana Hoosiers are doing it better than anybody else. They're putting more work in than anybody. They're going on the visits. They're all loading up and talking and doing whatever they have to do to land the likes of Jalen Harrelson, Braylon Mullins, Bryson Tiller, Mikel Brown, Trent Sisley. I think a visit with Eric Reeby's coming up as well. Plus, in 2026, they went and they talked to Taylon Kinney. Okay, cool. Nicely done. Go ahead, make some progress in 2026 while you're out doing your thing. I absolutely love it. And I think it'll pay off. I think it will pay off in the future, and maybe the very near future, for Indiana basketball recruiting, who stay hot on the trail and are doing it better than anybody else in college basketball. Well, coming up on Locked On Hoosiers, it's game day for Indiana football. They take on Western Illinois tonight at Memorial Stadium. We'll give you a little preview, telling what we're thinking, what we may be looking for in this game tonight on the field and maybe in the stands as well. That's coming up next on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you cannot find anywhere else, even those who are not actively searching for a new job, but may be looking to go a different career path. My dad, a small business owner, 3 small business owners, uses LinkedIn Jobs to hire all of his new employees, whether they are high-level bosses, entry-level jobs, doesn't matter. He uses LinkedIn Jobs, and he absolutely loves it. He is one of the 2.5 million small businesses that uses LinkedIn for hiring, and you can be one too. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome back into Locked On Hoosiers. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday, getting into the weekend as well. And we hope that you're making this your first listen and your first watch every single day. If this is your go-to spot for Indiana athletics. If you are an everydayer, as I like to call you, be sure that you are liking this video on YouTube, okay? Comment down below. Tell me how many of those recruits, all the guys we just talked about, how many of those does Indiana land, in your opinion? Do you think we get them all? Do we get one? Somewhere in zero? Somewhere in between. You tell me. I'm curious on what you have to say. Put that down in the YouTube comments below. And then the best thing you can do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit our show logo, the Locked On Hoosier little circle, and then hit subscribe, okay? That's the best way to help us with this free show to you every single day. So thank you so much. Well, Indiana football 1-0 from a week ago, trying to make it 2-0. And they have a game coming up tonight. I know it's weird. I know Friday night, college football, it's a little different. I know there's high school stuff going on. Heck, you got an NFL game going on tonight. All sorts of football going on around the country, but the Hoosiers are in action 6 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. They are hosting the Leathernecks of Western Illinois. Isn't that awesome? The Leathernecks, their logo is like an old school bulldog, but the Leathernecks, that's fantastic. Is that the only Leatherneck in college athletics? My guess is probably so. According to ESPN, almost a 97% chance to win. I have not even seen a betting line on this because Vegas said, nah, we're good. We're good. We don't want to touch this game. And I totally understand, totally get why you wouldn't want to do that. This is a Western Illinois team that has lost 25 games in a row. And my only goal, my only ask for Indiana is let's not be on the wrong side of history here, okay? Let's not give them that historic win that they're desperately looking for. Maybe we can let somebody else do that next week or the week after or the week after. Don't let it be us. That's all I'm saying. And let's be full transparency here. I don't think it will be. I think we are going to be just fine. If we go in with a similar game plan like we did a week ago, where we're going to come in, we're going to run the football, we're going to get multiple guys touches, and we're going to have Curtis Rourke get rid of it and be a game manager and make throws when we have to, I think we're going to be totally fine offensively. Defensive side, let those guys go to work, man. Let them eat, turn them loose, especially the guys in the linebacker unit, right? Aiden Fisher and those types of players. Let them go, man. Let them go and have a good time. And let's see if we can make some chaos and get some turnovers and just have some fun on a Friday night, because nothing against Western Illinois, okay? The only thing I know about them is the research I've done this week for this podcast, okay? They're just not a good football team, but as I have always said and will continue to say until Indiana has earned the right for me not to say it, we do not have the right to overlook anybody. None. Not a single program in all of college football, FBS or FCS, okay? Even HS, yeah, that stands for high school, okay? We don't have the right to overlook anybody yet because we've only won a game. And we have a long way to go in terms of earning that respect, earning that right, and having enough talent and enough of a status, really, to go into a game like that. And even if that's the case, I said this yesterday, I don't think Kurt Cignetti's that type of coach. I don't think that Coach C is going to let his team ever overlook a team or go into a game underprepared. And guess what? That's a championship mentality, ladies and gentlemen. That's a championship mindset of, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're first string, second string, coaching staff, parents of the players. We're going to come in and be prepared, and we're going to give it everything we got, and we'll see what happens on the scoreboard by the end of it. And I love that. And that's what you have to do when you play in the Big Ten, because yes, there are good teams and yes, there are bad teams, but they're all talented. And so you have to be prepared for that when those games come around. UCLA next week is a perfect example of that. So use this game if you're the Hoosiers tonight. Get better in this game. Get better, improve yourself, and find things to work on. You hope, okay, you hope that the score is out of hand enough to where you can do some of that, where you can throw in some wrinkles. You can try new plays. You can try new formations. You can try new rotations of players on the offensive or defensive line or in the secondary or some of the younger receivers or some of the 6 backs that we saw from last week, right? You hope that the score lets you do that. But remember what Coach Cignetti said about the game last week where, yeah, we're up 21-0. We almost let them score once, and we almost let them score again, and then all of a sudden it's a 1-score game. We're not to that point yet. And I hate to say that. I hate to be that way, but it's true. So what I look for tonight, I look for the offense to be smooth. I look for less penalties. No turnovers would be phenomenal. No injuries, of course. You could say that about every game that's ever played in any athletic event, but it is true, right? It is true. And I think the couple that we had from last week are going to be okay. Whether they play tonight or not, we'll find out. But even if they can't go, or even if they're kind of questionable, let's just hold them out, right? Hold them out. You got one defense, one offense, as far as I know. So it is what it is. We'll see on those. But again, offensively, I want to see Curtis Rourke continue to be comfortable, work through the progressions, get guys involved, have good protection on the offensive line, and those guys continue to create really good holes, big gaping holes on the offensive line. You should bully this team tonight, okay, offensively. And then on the defensive side of the football, again, I want them to eat. Let them go, Kurt. Let them go, man. Let them have a good time. Let the linebackers get after it. Would love to see some quarterback pressures, maybe a couple of forced turnovers, picks, picks, fumbles, whatever the case may be. And a shutout would be beautiful. It would. It'd be really, really nice. I don't even see a total for this game. I don't see a betting line for this game. I'll make a prediction. I'm going to say 38-3. 38. Yeah, we'll go 38-3. Yeah, I was going to change my answer, but I'm not. I'll stick with it. 38-3 is my score prediction. No turnovers for the offense, couple of forced turnovers for the defense. Everybody stay healthy, and I think that would be a successful evening. The one other thing I want to see, and this goes to you, Indiana fans, I want to see you show up. I want to see fans at the game. I want to see you go out on a Friday night, take advantage of college football being played on Friday. If you're in the area, have a chance to get there. I know it's weird. The game is a earlier start, kind of, I guess, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. But try to go if you have that chance. And hopefully you already have the plans to do that. And if you do get out there, stay out there, support this team. Coach Cignetti asked you for it. He understands they got to perform for you to do that, but they performed a week ago. And there's a good chance we're going to perform well tonight too. Give the team what they need and what they deserve and allow them to give it back to you in good performance with a big win on the scoreboard, okay? Indiana and Western Illinois. Friday night college football. Don't be on the wrong side of history, man. That's all I ask. Come on, Coach C. You got us, man. Get us to 2-0, and we'll charge into Big Ten play next week with UCLA. Indiana and Western Illinois tonight on the Big Ten Network for some Friday night college football. In our final segment coming up on Locked On Hoosiers, we'll look around the Big Ten a little bit. What's coming up this weekend for college football in the Big 18 conference that we're in now? Big game in the Big House, plus a couple of other programs get things started with other big matchups as well. We'll have that for you and our picks coming up in the final segment on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is my go-to ticketing app. I've told you I've gone to sporting events, comedy shows. I have family that have gone to theater and music shows, and Game Time is the best app there is. And I'm not even joking. I've used a ton of them in my lifetime. And since I've become a host at Locked On, coming up on a year, by the way, and since I've learned about the Game Time app, I haven't gone anywhere else since I've used it. All the different features that they have, whether it be the all-in pricing, right? So when you toggle that feature, it shows your total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. What you see is what you pay. All right, that's one of my favorites. And then the views from your seat. Any venue that you're going to, any event that it is, you can click on a seat It pulls up the view. You can see all the way around, and it's actually correct. It's accurate. It tells you exactly shows you, I should say, exactly what you're going to see. And when you get there, you can compare, and it's perfect. Those two things alone get me going back every single time to the Game Time app. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Final segment on Locked On Hoosiers. Thank you again for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you missed a couple of episodes from yesterday, big basketball episode yesterday, plus our Big Ten Crew week preview episode dropped on the show yesterday afternoon. If you're looking for a really good preview heading into the weekend after we're done here, after I give all kind of my picks and things, you can go and check that out right here on the Locked On Hoosiers YouTube channel. And be sure you go and check out Locked On College Football as well. My boy Spencer McLaughlin doing a fantastic job over there, and tell him that Jacob from Locked On Hoosiers sent you. We need like a code word or something to tell him, to make sure that you guys tell him that we're coming from here. But just tell him you're from Locked On Hoosiers. He'll know who it's coming from, and we like to give him a little hate sometimes. He's an Oregon guy, right? He's a newbie to the Big Ten, and so we'll worry about that in a little bit. But in all seriousness, go check out Locked On College Football. Okay, he does a really, really good job. Well, looking at some of the other games in the Big Ten this weekend, other than Western Illinois taking on your Hoosiers tonight, you also have Northwestern in action against Duke. Somehow they're favored at home in a really unique stadium. I don't know. If I had enough money to gamble, which maybe I do, maybe I don't, I ain't touching Duke and Northwestern. Absolutely not. What a gross game that this is. I'll pick Duke because I don't know. I have no reason to pick them other than I just don't trust Northwestern. How about that? Penn State in a snooze fest. I'll take them. Minnesota in a snooze fest. Rutgers in a snooze fest. Yikes, man. Washington, boring. Wisconsin, boring. Ohio State, boring. Oregon, probably boring. They're taking on Boise State. USC, boring. So not a ton of good games this week in the Big Ten. You do have, though, Nebraska hosting Colorado. Old school rivalry right here, man. Two teams that are playing in different conferences, right? Colorado came from the Pac-12 recently, now back in the Big 12. Nebraska, we know the history there in the Big 10 now. I'm taking Nebraska, man. I'm taking Dylan Raiola against Colorado. I think that's a terribly coached team. I think they're a bad team, Colorado is. I'm taking Nebraska to wipe the floor with Colorado to get revenge from a year ago. How about Kansas on the road in the Big Ten taking on Illinois? That's a ranked Kansas team, by the way. I don't know enough about Illinois. I saw their first game. They look decent. Got to win. I'm taking Kansas on the road, man. Give me the Jayhawks to beat Illinois. How about a Big Ten opener? Michigan State and Maryland. Very intriguing, fascinating game here. Maryland favored by 9.5 points. I like the Terrapins. I like Maryland. Do I like them enough to take them with the points? No, not really. So I'll take Michigan State with the points, but I think Maryland wins outright. I like Maryland to win that game in College Park. Another big one, Iowa State and Iowa. Yes, it's not a conference game, but it basically could be, should be, or maybe it's bigger than that. I don't know. Iowa State and Iowa, it'll be gross. If you're looking for a high-scoring, entertaining, high-flying game, this ain't it. Don't watch this game if you're looking for that. If you want a 10-9 game, right? 10 points to 9 points, and all of that is scored in the first half, awesome. You got your game. I'll take Iowa. Sure. The offense actually scored, almost 40 points a week ago? Maybe they eclipsed that, and then the defense is always going to be solid. So I'll take Iowa. Why not? They're at home. And then the big one, right? The big game in the big house. Michigan, top 10 team as of now. I don't think they are long term. They're hosting the big bag Longhorns of Texas, coming from the SEC, ranked 3rd in college football. Sorry, Michigan. Give me the Longhorns. I think they're way too good offensively. Michigan has no offense, I don't think. Defense is solid, and the secondary for Michigan is extremely talented. I just don't think they can hang with Texas offensively. Give me the Longhorns in that game. But the game we all care about, Indiana and Western Illinois, I've got the Hoosiers winning. I told you that. I got us winning a lot to a little. No injuries. Don't show a ton. Throw it around. Run the football. Let the defense do their thing. And I think we're going to have a great night in Memorial Stadium. So that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really do appreciate it. And your support is felt, it's seen, and it means the world to me. So thank you so much for that. Be sure you like the video on YouTube, okay? Comment down below. Final score predictions for Indiana football against Western Illinois and the one thing that you want to see from the game tonight. Let me know in the YouTube comments. And then if you haven't done it already, click on the show logo, Locked On Hoosiers, and hit subscribe. Takes 2 clicks, takes 2 seconds, and you'll be an everydayer just like that, okay? We're back on Monday, all right, with a brand new episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Who knows what happens in recruiting this weekend? I don't think we're done. We're doing it better than anybody else, and I think we're just getting started. Plus a reaction from Indiana's game against Western Illinois. Have a great weekend. Until next time, Hoosier fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.